Welcome back to this mess. I honestly don't even know what I'm trying to do here, but I'm just doing it, okay? I want to talk about a couple of things today. I want to talk about my current reads, which are 3 books. Then I want to move over to some fixed picks that I will bring with me on vacation because I'm going on vacation, as I mentioned in my last video. And then I want to let you choose my TBR because I'm indecisive as fuck. As for the books that I'm currently reading, the first book that I am reading right now is The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead. And if for some reason you would just simply like to weep and cry for this summer, I would recommend you to put that on your TBR because this will bring you to tears guaranteed. The book plays in the 60s. The protagonist is a black boy named Elwood, and one day, while hitchhiking his way to the college, he gets stopped by the police because they're looking for a stolen car, and obviously a police officer doesn't believe the black boy to be innocent, so Elwood gets sent off to the Nickel Academy, which is a sort of reform school. And I just can't feel this getting more tragic and tragic, like Kafkaesque downward spiral, where everything will just, no matter what you do, and no matter how good-hearted the main character and how honorable and decent his will is, there's just no way to help it. And it's just one of those life is simply unfair stories that just get you frustrated to the bones, you know? And then I am in the middle of reading Helter, Skelter, the story about the Manson murders by Vincent Bugliosi, which I found out while reading the prosecutor of the Manson cases. Well, that fact sort of helped me understand why this book is so famous. It is definitely really well made. If you have the urge to know every detail and aspect about these murders, then this is a phenomenal choice. I now know more about the Manson family and Charles Manson himself than I ever thought I would, and that all just because I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and I just simply wanted to know more about the real events behind the movie. Also, I am currently reading 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think by Brianna Wiest, and you know, I've never really heard about this book before until a friend of mine suggested that we could buddy read it. And you see how well that goes. But anyways, coincidentally, I went on Larry's booktube channel and I saw his title picture, and there was just this book stacked on the bottom of a pile of books, which I believe that gives the book some credit. So I'm really glad to have this as a current read, and although my mind hasn't really been changed yet because I'm mainly just agreeing with what is written in here, I can definitely see some nice reminders or lessons or whatever you want to call them. The only downside to this, I think, in my opinion so far, is that it's mainly bullet points that you're reading, so there will be a headliner, like the little things you don't realize are affecting how you feel about your body. And then there will be a list of, I don't know how many bullet points, in this case 16 or more, with like one sentence written in bold and then like a tiny paragraph underneath that to explain what is meant by that sentence. And I frankly think that kind of makes it look like it's the raw format of an essay. It's not been transferred into the real thing yet. I don't know, I wish it was more of an essay form, a text that I could go through with a beginning and an end, and then like examples and information embedded in it, so that it would also be easier for my memory to remember the important points. I tried it with tabs, but I've already lost the overview on what actually I've tabbed. But I'm gonna leave them in there, and maybe I'll go back to it and then reread a bullet point and be like, ah yeah, remember to do that. Okay, moving on to the what I'll bring with me on vacation part. I don't know what went wrong here. There have been a lot of people, so I know it's my bad and on my part, but a lot of people who thought that the list of books that I am actually afraid of were the books that I was going to take with me on vacation. A lot of people actually left me some compliments on doing that, and well, it was never my intention to do that. I'm so sorry. But on the other hand, you know what? I might as well just do it, right? That's actually a great idea. So I'm gonna take some books with me from that video from last week, which I'm gonna link below if you haven't seen it. To make it quick, because I've just talked about them, I'm just gonna name the titles. So I'm gonna take with me Desert Flower, The Book Thief. Why am I holding them upside down? Anyways. The Handmaid's Tale, From Julian Days. Oh my god, From Julian Days. And then Liverpool Street, aka My Family for the War. Yes, I'm gonna bring those with me, and I will hope to get some progress done on this. I don't know if that is like a stupid idea, probably it is. But yeah, actually, why not? I'll bring them with me. You might have noticed that there were 2 books missing, and that is, of course, the Hitler biography, because it's so fragile, it's almost falling apart as it is, standing in the shelf. I don't think that it would survive a journey, so I'm not gonna take it with me. It's too precious for me to ruin it. And also, I'm not gonna take with me the glass speed game, because I don't feel ready for my head imploding. I just simply don't. Some other fixed picks for places in my suitcase will also be my summer TBR, which I've also did a video on, which I also will link down below if you're interested. So now I'm at the part where I will need your help. Since some of the spots on the list of books for my summer vacation have been taken by my anxious reads, by books that I'm afraid to read, I'll have to cut away some other books to make my TBR a bit more realistic and not that overwhelming. So what I've done here is that I've paired 2 books together, and I've did that 4 times, so 4 times 2 books. And I've tried to make the pairs quite similar. I tried to keep them similar in page count, in genre, and also in my feeling about them. And now I would appreciate it if you would leave me a comment on which of the 2 books that I've matched against each other you would prefer, or you want me to take with me on my vacation. And based on the most votes, I will take that certain book with me. If nobody wants to vote, nobody doesn't have any suggestions, it's okay, I will flip a coin, you know, I'll have to make a decision anyway. But I thought it might be fun if you would choose my TBR, if you want to, that is. So let's get right into it with round number 1, shall we? In the left corner, we have Burnout, a self-help book by Emily and Aemilia Nagoski. And by the way, I am quoting the Goodreads synopsis here. Quote, "This groundbreaking book explains why women experience burnout differently than men and provides a simple, science-based plan to help women minimize stress, manage emotions, and live a more joyful life." Quote ending. And with an average star rating of 4.1 stars and 19,447 ratings, this is not a bad contender. It's 288 pages heavy, although that might be some false weight due to an appendix that is around 60 pages long. Now on to the defender in the right corner. Some say the art of writing can be therapeutic. Maybe that is also true for a book on writing. By a master in his field, we've got On Writing, a memoir of the craft by Stephen King. Long live the King hailed Entertainment Weekly upon the publication of Stephen King's On Writing. Part memoir, part masterclass by one of the best-selling authors of all time, this superb volume is a revealing and practical view of the writer's craft, comprising the basic tools of the trade every writer must have. Quote ending. And with about 4.31 stars and 242,777 ratings, he keeps the upper hand, at least in numbers. But can this old dog teach me some new tricks? What do you think? Which book should I choose? Round number 2. We start off with The Woman in the Window by AJ Finn. It's 3.96 stars on average and has over 500,000 ratings on Goodreads. So this is a thriller averagely enjoyed by many. Quote, "Anna Fox lives alone, a recluse in her New York City home, unable to venture outside. She spends her day drinking wine, maybe too much, watching old movies, recalling happier times, and spying on her neighbors." This 427-page book is now competing against The Watcher by Charlotte Link, Germany's most successful living female author. I do own the German copy myself, which is why there's such a drastic difference in page count. The English hardcover version does apparently only have around 400 pages, while my German copy contains 651 of those thin paper thingies with text on them. Like, why is that? I have absolutely no clue. Anyways, quote, "Carla Roberts lives alone in the top of a high-rise building, frightened by the sound of the lift stopping and opening on her floor, with nobody getting out. Days later, she's found brutally murdered." Quote ending. We've got a rating of 3.85 stars and 2,179 votes, but tell me, which book would you vote for in this round? Round number 3. In the lightweight category in this game, on the left, we've got Lauren Graham's Talking as Fast as I Can. This got around 3.94 stars with 106,251 ratings and a paper count of 224 pages. Quote, In this collection of personal essays, the beloved star of Gilmore Girls and Parenthood reveals stories about life, love and working as a woman in Hollywood. Quote ending. And this is up against Into the Wild by Jon Krakauer. This has a rating of 3.99 stars and the highest amount of votes yet, making it to 936,114 ratings. And there are 207 pages stacked between the cover and the back of the book. Quote, in April 1992, a young man from a well-to-do family hitchhiked to Alaska and walked alone into the wilderness north of Mount McKinley. His name was Christopher Johnson McCandless. He had given $25,000 in savings to charity, abandoned his car and most of his possessions, burned all the cash in his wallet, and invented a new life for himself. 4 months later, a party of moose hunters found his decomposed body. How McCandless came to die is the unforgettable story of Into the Wild. Well, I might not go into the wild myself, but I could bring this book to the beach. So what do you think? Which one of those should I pick? Round number 4, and the final round. The last challenger for the day is Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro. It has a 3.86 average star rating with 67,731 people participating in this judgment, and it is about 304 pages long. Quote, Clara and the Sun, the first novel by Kazuo Ishiguro since he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature, tells the story of Clara, an artificial friend with outstanding observational qualities, who from her place in the store watches carefully the behavior of those who come in to browse and of those who pass on the streets outside. Quote ending. And the final challengee, The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This well-known 216-page book has 4.22 stars with over 1.5 million votes. And that, ladies and gents, and everybody who doesn't want to define themselves, is a high rating. Quote, seconds before Earth is demolished to make way for a galactic freeway, Arthur Dent is plucked off the planet by his friend Ford Prefect, a researcher for the revised edition of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, who for the last 15 years has been posing as an out-of-work actor. Quote ending. Now, please tell me, what will be your final verdict? Which book should or shouldn't I take with me on vacation? So I hope you enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to your choices. And with that, I'm at the end of the video. I will see you in about 3 to 4 weeks. I hope you'll have a great summer. And I'll go now, so goodbye.